Going on there, guys? Good evening. It's the Earthmaster here on the live stream with an update video on this beautiful Friday night, September 2nd, 2022. It's about 9:08 p.m. California time. A 1.6 earthquake out there on the Earthquake 3D globe. It kind of looks like it's off the coast of Morocco right there. The latest quake on the flat scale model. I want to jump into fires real quick here. Northern California seeing a pretty good fire start up out of the blue. Near a mill, maybe a sawmill potentially, around the Weed, California area. A lot of folks know this area for weed, right? There's a lot of weed signs and whatnot here in the city, or little community, I should say. It did start, fortunately, it did start here kind of towards the north end of Weed and took off pretty rapidly with some gusting winds at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, and it's shooting towards the north. The latest fire map here on the firm's Fire Information for Resource Management System kind of shows the hot spots right now over the area. Now there is a couple areas inside of Weed that are showing a little bit of the heat map signature, but the majority of the fire has taken off really rapidly to the north. Once you get up here into the region, there's not a whole lot of forestry that can burn. There is some dry conditions up here, but thankfully this is not some heavily forested areas once you get there well north of 97, north of Weed there. But yeah, just kind of crazy how this fire started up out of the blue. Again, this is the mill fire, again, just outside of Weed. Currently sitting at almost 4,000 acres. It is 0% contained. Evacuation orders for all zones east of Interstate 5 from Weed to Highway A12, south of A12 from Grenada to Highway 97, west of Highway 97 from A12 to I-5. So a pretty good portion of this area underneath a evacuation order. There's another look at the fire perimeter map as far as it's taken off. I mean, it's a pretty massive fire, all, just kind of blew up. And uncertain on the exact cause. All I know is I heard this thing was started around a mill, hence the mill fire. So sawmill, not for sure what type of mill, but either way, things kind of not looking good up there. All right, earthquake activity. We're jumping into that real quick. We'll take a look at the flat scale model. We have seen some activity kind of ramping up here, including a 4.7 earlier this afternoon around the American Samoa Islands area. Pretty shallow though, about 10 kilometers. As far as deeper movement within this region, we haven't seen anything recent. The majority of this activity, very shallow earthquake movement around the Fiji Islands area. But things I think are starting to definitely build up here in the region. We'll have to watch that pretty closely. There is the 6.1 that came in. USGS kept it as a 6.1. Originally it came in as 6.1. EMSC downgraded it to a 6.0, and then USGS kept it as a 6.1 at 126 kilometers here into this little region outside of Papua New Guinea. So somewhat deep movement taking place here. There we go. Check out this earthquake activity. See what's going on, guys? And it's weird how it's been happening. So it happened earlier in my update this morning, and it just happened right now. Like literally, most of the earthquakes dropped off the map here. And you guys see that firsthand, right? I wasn't even clicking on anything. So where'd they go? Where did they go? I'm not for sure what's going on. Someone playing a little trick here. Look at this. Soon as I start my update video, things get a little on the fishy side, wouldn't you say? Look at that. Where'd our Papua New Guinea earthquake go? So let's go ahead and let's close that out here. And we'll work with the EMSC model for right now. We'll take a look at the activity. That's just too suspicious, and it makes me think that someone's doing it on purpose. I don't know who it is, whether it's a USGS, maybe a scientist, seismologist, I don't know. But it's very fishy. You guys seen that firsthand, what just happened there on the map. So looking at the EMSC model, now if this happens here, then man, might as well just call it quits, right? Probably not. Not going to happen, sorry. So there's that. Okay, That was just really weird. Oh, goodness. I don't know what's going on, but something, maybe a ghost in the machine there, causing a little bit of some issues here with my computer. I didn't even hit a button. Nothing. Someone's having fun with me tonight. There's the 6.1 around the Papua New Guinea area earlier, and some activity really ramping up around the southwestern portion here of the Philippine Plate, around the Philippines area. Low activity throughout the Java Trench area, it looks like, as we scoot to the west. But not a whole lot going on around New Zealand right now. Only a 3.1, and it looks like a 3.4. A couple of the last earthquakes there on the map. Throughout Australia, a couple low-grade 3s, and 2.5 around the southern Australia area. But we have seen things kind of kick up into the Middle America Trench and the Peru-Chile Trench as well. Let's see what we got here for the USGS map. We're back. No, we're not back. It's kind of weird. You guys see that? That's so weird. What happened to the 6-pointer out there? It's just completely disappeared. Is it magic, or is that just... Okay, that's a little weird. See that? So I click up 1 day magnitude 2.5 and above, and then 1 day all magnitudes, and then the 6-pointer pops up. Don't ask me what's going on. This happened to me earlier this morning. I find it very odd. Please let me know if this is happening to you so I don't go crazy in the middle of the night. Looking at the West Coast, we'll kind of pretend that didn't happen again. West Coast activity, nothing in the red circles here over the last 24 hours. I mean, as far as the last hour goes, yes, there is some earthquake activity striking out here within the last 24 hours. Most of it there on the map, microquakes. Looks like a little earthquake activity around the Long Valley supervolcano, just south of there, 2.8. No major swarms, though, noted on the California map. Just seeing a little broad area of activity kind of stretching its way. Last night we seen it stretch its way a little bit further east, just north of the Garlock fault structure. But now we're starting to notice a little bit of a trend here north of Santa Barbara, north of Santa Clarita, kind of stretching across here of this mountain range. Again, no major earthquake activity, just a little bit of microquakes there. Salton Sea, the southern end of the San Andreas Fault. We did have some activity at the Brawley seismic zone and a little activity around the Imperial Fault earlier this afternoon time frame. For its earthquake activity inland, Yellowstone National Park. Let's go ahead and check this out. See what's going on here. I don't know what's going on. Things are a little suspicious, so let me tell you. Okay, so within the last... looks like the last couple minutes here, I'm not for sure if these earthquakes showed up on the Yellowstone seismograph stations, but they're definitely showing up here. Looks like we're getting a little bit of earthquake swarming popping up here within the last half hour or so. Although over the afternoon time frame, things are kind of mellow. Not a whole lot of activity listed there on the map, but notice the signature there of some earthquake activity here within the last 30 minutes, as noted across the northwestern portion of Yellowstone National Park. That is the area that did see some swarming movement. Far as recent activity goes here on the map, these guys are only showing 2.5 and above when it comes to recent activity and the preliminary earthquake computer data catalog system. Right now, things not showing up here on the map, but they'll probably get to it tomorrow morning, right? So yeah, we got those couple earthquakes here within the last 30 minutes or so. Also noted down here earlier this afternoon in this area of Yellowstone National Park, we had some separate earthquake activity kicking up here in the region. Now, the USGS did put out a stand by for just a second here. Getting a little notification here of an earthquake around the Greece area. Let me check here real quick. We'll come back to Yellowstone in just a quick second, but I kind of want to check out what's going on around Greece. Looks like, let's go to the EMSC model and see what we got going on here. Got a 4.6 coming in, it looks like. Although these guys saying a 5.8 in the Crete, Greece area. Notice that right there. 2 kilometers deep, pretty shallow earthquake. 5.8. That's somewhat of a pretty good moderate sized earthquake around the Greece area. But as noted here, let me refresh this. Oh, there we go. Looks like it's finally shown up there on the area. 5.8 continuing here in the Crete, Greece area. It looks like just 6 minutes ago. So pretty good sized earthquake in that region. USGS, let's check this real quick and see what we got. Nothing showing up yet from them. Still a little suspicious. Look at that. 2.5 and above, and they take off the majority of the earthquakes. It's so weird until you add the all magnitudes, and then we get, I don't know what's going on with them, but it's definitely weird. Definitely a little on the odd side. So we'll check that USGS map here in a little bit. I do want to cover the Yellowstone activity. And a lot of people kind of look at this GPS system here in Yellowstone. And USGS did put out a little notification here a couple days ago. I think it was maybe last night before. The GPS measurements here that happen pretty much anywhere within the Yellowstone area every season, so to speak. And they kind of chatted about trying to find a good working station around this area. They kind of chat about the uplift every season, roughly around this time of year, as far as the uplift goes. And this doesn't look like what they're talking about. I'm going to explain this here. They're talking about how snow melts into the ground and provides a kind of like a saturation swelling type of deal with the soil, right? And that could provide a little bit of adjustment on the GPS measurements as far as uplift goes. But this right here, this is a gradual uplift in this region of the park. Let's see exactly where we're at here. Stand by for just a second. We are at the kind of right around where the swarming area is taking place, east of West Yellowstone, kind of right on the outskirts of the northwestern portion of the Yellowstone caldera. And that activity listed there on the map, let's stand by for just a second here. That activity listed here on the map is definitely not swelling. This is definitely a gradual rise of activity as far as the GPS measurements go here in this area. I have seen what they're talking about, where the snow melts into the ground and, you know, kind of swells a little bit in certain areas of Yellowstone National Park. But I seen them put out that article on their page, and I'm trying to find some of these graphs here. Overall gradual downtrend, so to speak, here in this area of the park. But man, the other GPS station was showing quite a bit of uplift, so might have to go into that in another update video. But the swarming activity, 2 separate locations, that's kind of what I look for in some kind of unusual type patterns here. We're used to swarms in Yellowstone National Park, but far as a couple different separate locations here swarming, that's a little on the crazy side, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Again, no major earthquakes at Yellowstone National Park, just a couple different independent swarms taking place into the north here. Again, just outside of the Yellowstone caldera, and then also to the south here. I think probably right around the, let's see where the epicenter is at, probably around, looks like Pitchstone Plateau, around the southern end. So we will watch that pretty closely, right? And as far as the intervals go of Yellowstone eruptions, it's let's see what we got here. Let's see. Yellowstone, hold on a second here. there's a map I was kind of looking for. $640,000 years ago. There we go. So, from what I hear, and I heard this from a geography lecture a couple days ago here at the college where I'm attending, that it's been about, well, yeah, right, 640,000 years ago. And the intervals come out to about that. So it's kind of crazy that the guy giving the lecture, the teacher, mentioned that. But who knows, right? I mean, it still could be a little bit of more time before that happens. And I think before that happens, we'll be seeing some large-scale earthquake activity, not these little microquakes that are kicking off here in the region. But yeah, the last eruption 640,000 years ago. And if that's the intervals there, that's a little on the scary side, right? Nothing showing up yet on the USGS map as far as that 5.8 over in the Crete, Greece area. Still kind of checking on that, waiting for that thing to pop up. Let's continue on with earthquake activity. Let's go back here to the States. Again, no major swarms to report in Southern California, just the San Jacinto Fault Zone showing its typical earthquake activity in the region. Not a whole lot going on throughout Kansas. Once we get down to Oklahoma, it's a little spotty activity here outside of the Tuttle area, it looks like. I can only guess what's out here, right? Let's see what we got. Maybe some fracking operations, it looks like, or at least some injection wells in the vicinity of this area. Notice these squares. And close-up inspections show a couple little ponds there. Those darker spots there on the map indicating some wastewater injection and whatnot. But let's see what else we got. Texas has been rumbling pretty crazy here over the last couple days. Today, though, looks like a couple twos and a couple threes in the mix as well. Puerto Rico calming down a little bit, same as South America. Up here in Alaska, things kind of kicking up a little bit throughout the Denali and the Cook Inlet region, noticing a little swarm of activity throughout the area. Over here on the Western Pacific, we have been seeing a little bit of increase in activity off the coast of Japan into the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. This area is definitely prone and primed for a big earthquake. It's been a while since this specific section right here has seen one. Just a matter of time before it does pop. A couple 4s and 5s in that area today. Tremor map along the Cascadia subduction zone shows 0 epicenters. That's not a big number at all, right? 0. Completely dropped off. Let's check out Mount St. Helens real quick and see what we got as far as volcanic activity goes and earthquake activity. We'll jump into the Tau Volcano, American Samoa region. A couple small earthquakes, it looks like, in the area. No major swarms, though. It looks like no major activity. A couple very small microquakes, and this has been ongoing here for a couple months or so. All right, let's see what we got for the volcanoes. No new listed volcanoes. Including the Trident area. Trident still remains at normal. They have been seeing a little bit of swarming there in the Alaska region. Tau Volcano. Things are still pretty consistent. I just checked the update as far as their earthquake activity goes. And let's give a little quick glance at the seismograph station there that they installed. Still seeing some earthquakes there. Right? We got them up there on the board, and they've been pretty consistent. For the past 3 or 4 weeks or so. Not for sure where this is leading to, but it all seems pretty condensed to one spot, and there's variable depths here with these earthquakes in a single type fashion from somewhat deep to a little bit on the shallow side as well. And that can only probably mean one thing, right? A little bit of magma movement shooting up towards the surface. How big it's going to be, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Solar weather activity. We are into a G1 class storm currently. Notice the KP index up there around 5 in the red. So we're a little bit stronger than the forecasted event. We're expecting kind of a 4 later tonight. But G2 storming conditions expected on the 4th and a little bit lower on the 5th there for a G1. Higher latitude levels do see a pretty good chance of seeing the auroras, including the mid-latitudes as well on the 4th time frame. We'll see how that plays out, right? That's all coming from the number 20 coronal hole, which has been facing us for a couple days or so. Pretty good regional sunspot or coronal hole. This is the latest image here. Notice not a whole lot of sunspot activity on the Earth-facing side. Right now we got well, 3089 still kind of hanging out here on the southwestern limb. 3092 rapidly growing, maybe 3093 as well, further up on the northeastern section of the sun. 3094, the newest named sunspot, is showing some pretty good development, and it is rapidly growing, it looks like. And it's pretty large sunspots. We'll watch this here in the coming days. See if we get any X flares in the forecast. These guys are showing 80% chance, 30% chance at 10%, but it looks like they forgot to change the numbers. They've changed the colors, but not the numbers there. So let's see. So yeah, we'll see how this plays out. The latest look at the density and the speed here. Notice the density picked up pretty nicely. Speed, though, is kind of dwindling. That's a little on the odd side, well below the 500 range. But we're getting that southwestern portion of the BZ zone kicking down and allowing some particles and charged particles to flow in and create those G1 current conditions. Again, G2 expected on the 4th. Looking at the detailed forecast here from these folks, looks like around the 18 to 24 time frame, and that could be late afternoon. Not for sure if that's going to be perfect timing there for auroras on this side of the Earth, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, guys, have a good night. Stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys a little bit later on. Again, not for sure. Looks like they downgraded that. USGS downgraded that 5.8 to a 5.1. It's a pretty good downgrade. But still somewhat moderate earthquake activity kicking up around the Greece area tonight. All right, guys. Stay safe. Have a good night. And we will chat you guys a little bit later on. Peace out.